Hey everybody, it's Paul Stevens here again with iGo Sales and Marketing, and today we're going to be looking at how to set up email, both inbound and outbound, in SuiteCRM version 7.14 plus. So recently the email was just completely redone. So a lot of it was to accommodate the new OAuth for Office 365. However, the entire sort of interface is different. And I noticed on the forums there's a lot of people running into problems and issues, and they can't get it to work. And honestly, I think most of it is really just kind of like user interface problems. It absolutely does work, but there's a lot of little nitpicky things that I think could be improved in sort of the design and layout. That would make it easier. So I'm going to go through it today and show you, I guess, some of the little tricks and tips to make sure you get your email set up properly. Okay, so before we start, this is not going to cover OAuth, Microsoft Office 365. This is going to just be simple IMAP and SMTP email setup. There are some things you can learn from this if you're doing Office 365, but unfortunately I don't personally have an Office 365 server and account and everything that I can use to demo this. I have set it up for clients. I do have a procedure. If you do need help with it, you can reach out to me. However, today I'm just going to go through the basic email setup. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. And one last thing, if you do like my videos and it's helpful, please do me a big favor, like and subscribe, and that really helps me out. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so what's different a little bit about the email is that it's still in admin, okay? And you still have your email settings, your inbound and your outbound email address. However, what's slightly different is really the way you want to do this is have the users set up their own email addresses. Now, I know in the past there have been issues when admin sets up the email for the user that it causes some problems because the admin becomes the owner of the email address, and it causes some access issues and things. This, I think, is getting straightened out in future things, but it's probably best practice just get the user to set up their own. Okay, so the way you want to do that is get your user just to go in their profile, okay, and you'll see on the side menu here, if you don't have this activated, like, I think it's a very helpful feature. Get this stuff activated, and they will have access to all of this stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is you set up your outbound email first and then your inbound email second. You have to set them up separately. Okay, now you used to, if you remember in the past, go down here and go into settings, and then you would have a whole bunch of options here to set up your inbound and outbound email. Okay, so that's not the case anymore. You'll find all this stuff in the side panel over here. Okay, so let's go to our outbound email accounts. Okay, now I've already pre-populated this stuff just for the sake of time, but I'll go through it with you. Okay, so I'm going to edit this here. Okay, so the name of the account is just something easy when you're actually sending emails out to pick which one that you want to use. Okay, the type is going to be personal. The owner, you're going to select your own. This is a demo installations, but I'm the administrator, but you're going to select your own username here. Okay, the server is going to be your email server, your outbound SMTP email server. You're going to want, now these are servers specific to my server, okay? But they're pretty standard. You're going to have like SMT authentication checked. You're going to have SSL. In some rare cases, you may have TLS, but the port is going to be automatically 465 because it's SSL. Okay, the username is going to be your email address. Now, here's one not problem, but like not a good user interface design. Okay, so you can see here it's populated. Okay, it shouldn't be populated, but because I'm using Chrome and it has a like automatic password population thing that happens, okay, this really needs to be like erased. Okay, otherwise what's going to happen is it's going to use whatever value Chrome just popped in here. Okay, and you're going to have problems. So in previous versions, this used to be hidden, and there used to be a button that said change password, which avoided that problem. I think that's why it was there in the first place. Anyway, in this new version, it's not, and you'll find your browser populates that, and it's kind of like, a problem. But anyway, so if you're going back to edit it anytime, or edit this, or edit anything, make sure you clear that out, okay? Otherwise, it's not gonna work. It's gonna populate the wrong password. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, so the second thing you want to be cognizant of is fill all this stuff out. Okay, if you just enter your username and password and try and send a test email, most likely your email server is going to reject it because it doesn't have like a from address and a reply to address. Okay, so populate these things down here properly. Okay, and then again, you would enter your proper password in here. Okay, if it's the first time you're setting it up. If it's the second time, you want to make sure it's not populated. Okay, so then at that point you can test it and send your test email. Okay, so one other thing to be aware of, there are a few bugs in various different versions of SuiteCRM where the SSL comes up blank. Okay, so again, if you're going back in and editing, just make sure that that is populated. There are some bugs where this isn't populated. Just make sure when you go back in that this is populated. Okay, so I'm going to send a test email. Okay, I'm going to send a test email to myself, and if everything goes smoothly, oh, see what I did? I forgot to take the password out. Okay, all right. So that's how easy it is, and it's just a terrible design. But anyway, okay. So now I'm going to send the test email. Okay, I probably messed it up. Let me put in my actual password. Okay. Okay, and you can see now it's sent. Okay, so that password field there is so funky. If you're having trouble and you can't understand why it's not working, sometimes like I just did there, repopulate it. Okay, so now that my outbound email is working, I've successfully sent a test email, I can just save this. Okay, so this is done. All right, so now the next thing I want to do is I want to set up my inbound. So this is a slightly more complicated, but some of the same issues are there. Okay, so I'm going to set up my inbound. Okay, so same thing, you're going to put a name, you're going to select who the owner is. So again, I mentioned it's better if the user sets it up themselves, but I think this is how it assigns ownership now. So that issue might not be there. I haven't really tested, but I think just best practice, get the user to set up their own, and you'll probably run into less problems. Okay, so in this case, in the inbound, we want basic authentication. If you are setting up Office 365, you're going to want OAuth, okay? And there's a whole other procedure of setting up an OAuth connection and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go through that just because I don't have the account to demonstrate with. So I'm just going to do basic auth. But a lot of these things are a similar principles you would do if you were setting up OAuth. Okay, so mail server name, the username is your email, protocol is going to be IMAP. Okay, and again, this password thing here is funky as well. Make sure it doesn't get auto-populated by your browser. Okay, and again, also make sure that you get your server port correct. Your SSL is checked. Again, there were some bugs in in recent versions where this doesn't get populated or this doesn't get populated if you're going back in to edit it. So just make sure this is correct, okay? You don't have to worry about connection string or email body type, okay? So what I would suggest here is do not click on test connection settings. There is a bug around the test connection settings as well. Okay, so I think it may have been fixed recently, but the thing with this is if it doesn't connect, it's going to just go until your server times out and you're going to be sitting here frustrated. So I find the easiest thing to do is just go over to your select here beside one of your monitor folders, and if you just click on that, okay, and you can see it got folders. Okay, so if it gets folders, you're connected. Your settings are correct. It's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to select my inbox, done, and I'm going to do the same thing here for, you know, my trash, done, select the trash, done. I'm going to select the sent folder, done. Okay, so I know this is going to work because I got folders there. Okay, and again, you can see my password. I haven't entered anything in, so this is just, I'm editing what I had already done. Okay, so the reason why I said that it's a good idea to do your outbound first is because you're going to want to select here and connect it to your outbound account, okay, so that your outbound and inbound accounts are kind of linked, okay, and you're going to want to make sure that your addresses down here are populated properly, okay, and have different signatures if you in fact want different signatures, okay. So now that that's all set up, we can save that. Okay, I'm confident that's going to work fine because we got the folders, right? Okay, so we know we connected to our server. So don't think you're done yet. If you just go to activities, emails, you're not going to see anything. You're going to go, what's wrong? There's a problem. Okay, so the next thing you have to do, and this isn't really well documented, but go into your profile and you're going to go to settings. Okay, so it's going to show you here all of the inboxes that you have access to. Okay, so this is governed by a couple things. One, like in my case, I'm admin, so I can see everything. But if I'm a user, I'm only going to see the inboxes that I have access to as a user, which would most likely be the ones that I created. Okay, so if you click on none, it's going to kind of like refresh this. Okay, so you can see these are all grayed. That means they're selected. Okay, so I can hold down like the control key, and this is, again, it's a little bit wonky. I can deselect ones, okay, and select other ones, okay. I'm going to just select them all, okay, so we can see what happens. Okay, so now that they're all selected, okay, I know I have access to these accounts, okay, and I just have to click done. I don't have to resave my profile. What I just did there really did it, okay. So I'm going to go to activities. I'm going to go to emails. I'm going to open link in a new account. Okay, and I'll wait till it loads here. It's going to download my inbox. Okay, so this is my email inbox. Okay, I may have to blur some of this out because it's my actual inbox. If I click here, it allows me to switch between accounts that I have access to. Okay, so anything that I've selected access to, I can switch in between and see different inboxes. Okay, so that's how to set up your email. That's how you make it work. And if you follow those steps, everything should be fine. Okay, and again, I do this for a living. I do SuiteCRM consulting, web design, pay-per-click marketing, SEO, all kinds of stuff. So if you need help with SuiteCRM, setting up your sales process, setting up your opportunities, also I do development, not super duper complex stuff, but general development in SuiteCRM, customizations, that kind of stuff. Please, my contact info is below. Please reach out to me and like and subscribe if you like the video. Thanks. Have a great day.